The green, lush, warm wall of bush all around us here in Blackball, and the rain falling and playing and gurgling and splashing down the guttering and the spouting and the creeks. It just makes me feel so safe and so soothed.
Being brought up in Canterbury, all the brown and you know, and all of a sudden you roll through the Aotearoa Tunnel and it's green, and nobody give a rat's ass what you're up to.
Oh, if we work out the population of Blackball and we hose them down and weigh them wet, we might get to 300. 90% or so of the town are what we call blow-ins, so they've blown in from somewhere else. Well, I'm a blow-in. The dynamic of Blackball's changed quite a lot in the last 3 or 4 years, and I'm probably on the back of the track coming in.
Did you have to book along in advance?
We couldn't actually, because it was all booked up. And so we were lucky we got a cancellation on, about 3 days ago.
In this street here alone, there's probably about 7 houses changed hands and all new people, so it's really interesting.
Houses are hot property in Blackball these days, which startled me. We had to pay $185,000 for a 2-bedroom 1920s bungalow, which by Blackball standards is highway robbery.
Yeah, right.
I know. I was born in 1952 in a taxi between here and Greymouth and spent the first 6 years of my life in Blackball. The town itself only began to appear when coal began to be mined, which wasn't until the 1890s. Classic West Coast coal mining society. It's almost easier not to list the decades when Blackball didn't get a strong reputation for being stroppy. But the first big event was the strike of 08, when the Blackball miners fought the coal mine company. From 1908 onwards, Blackball was right at the heart of the organised working class in New Zealand. Over and over again, it was a place where people were willing to stand up and fight. But as new technology came in to replace these things, the demand for coal shrank and shrank and shrank. And because getting coal out of the West Coast is very expensive, it simply became uneconomic in the end.
Then we had the mine closure in 1964, which devastated the town. Local law has it that the families would, with their houses being valueless, would go to church and come back and say, oh, look, it burnt down, and collect the insurance and go off to their new job.
The town was at risk of dying completely, as many coal towns did.
Listen to me, weary traveler.
A joker that I knew reasonably well. He said, you looking for a piece of land? I said, how much do you want for it? He said, $500. And I said, oh, Christ. Sounds all right, but I haven't even got $500. He says, $20 down and $20 a month until it's paid. Blackball's always been a transient town. You know, that's just the nature of the mines and stuff like that. People are coming and going. It probably increased from into the 70s, I guess, and you knew a wave of so-called hippies, but none of them really were. You know, they might have had long hair and bloody city clothing on, if you like, compared to the rather staid conservative mob that lived around here.
Well, the first night in Blackball was with a friend of mine called John, and he was a musician. We walked into the pub and it was full of old miners, and we got this derisive look and fucking hippies. They started talking to us. I asked what we did, and I said, oh, I'm working a sawmill, and John here's a musician. And they said, well, what sort of music do you play, John? He said, well, what sort of music do you like? So he went up to the piano and started playing Old Man River. It wasn't about 30 seconds, all the bar that was anti-hippie was around singing their hearts out till about 2 o'clock in the morning. And
instant locals.
Yeah, instant.
I came to Blackball in 1972. You know, the town, I thought, what a hole. All the houses just about were unpainted. There was a massive coal heap in the front of each one. And what was the Hilton was derelict. I used to own the Blackball Hilton, firstly with Linda and then by myself. It didn't really have a name because the guy before us had been done. The Hilton International got their knickers in a knot. So we decided that after all that publicity, it was too good to waste, so we bunged Formerly in front of the name and carried on. And it used to be quite funny because I'd ring Christchurch about something and order something. I'd say, oh, it's Jane here from the Hilton. They'd say, Formerly.
People are buying houses sight unseen on the internet, so they go on TradeMe and they see a house in Blackball and they'll just buy it and move to Blackball.
It's a place that refused to die, I think. And different waves of people come through and they've all sort of bought something new.
Well, I freestyle create limited edition food.
Well, I've got a patch of blueberries out there. Yeah, I've stood out here on different bloody days and you look up the valley and just, this is where I should have been.
It's actually very tolerant of wackos too. And there's plenty of us here in Blackball.
I hope it doesn't lose its character. You know, I hope it doesn't become trendy. I want it to stay Blackball somehow.